Today, we're going to peel back the curtain on the artificial intelligence industry to show you something they really don't want you to see: their intense, full-scale war to stop any meaningful rules for their products. Let's dive in.
You know the promises from AI executives. It's this amazing utopian vision of the future, all powered by their technology, where all of humanity's biggest problems just disappear. It sounds incredible, right? A golden age just around the corner? But what if that's not the whole story? Because while they're talking about curing disease tomorrow, here's what's actually happening today. AI systems are already causing real, documented, and illegal harm. You've got biased algorithms denying Black patients medical care. You've got companies using faulty facial analysis to illegally reject job applicants. Landlords are even using AI to collude and jack up your rent. These aren't some far-off hypothetical risks. This is happening right now.
And that brings us to the big question here. If this technology is so obviously flawed, why is there such a frantic, aggressive push from the industry to roll it out everywhere as fast as humanly possible, while fighting any attempt to create even the most basic rules of the road? That's what we're going to figure out.
So this brings us to the first part of our investigation: the war on rules. We're going to look at how an entire industry has launched this incredible campaign to basically write its own laws, or even better for them, to have no laws at all.
You know, the funny thing is, we don't need to invent a whole new legal system for AI. The laws to prevent all this bad stuff, they already exist. The Civil Rights Act, fair credit reporting, antitrust laws. The problem is, AI acts like this black box, making it almost impossible to prove a company broke the law and hold anyone accountable.
So, seeing this huge accountability gap, states like California and Colorado started to step in. They began drafting some really common sense bills. I mean, we're not talking about anything crazy here. It was basic stuff, requiring companies to be transparent about how they use AI and, simply follow the laws we already have.
And then, something truly wild happened. A provision was quietly slipped into a federal bill that would have banned states from passing any AI regulations for 10 years, a full decade. Just think about that. The industry's response to these common sense rules was to try and make it illegal for states to govern them at all.
And if you want to see the real-world impact, just look at Texas. There was this promising bipartisan AI bill, once called a fantastic model for the whole country. But then the industry lobbyists got involved. And the result? The bill was completely rewritten, totally gutted. It gave the industry, in the words of one former FTC lawyer, exactly what they wanted.
So how does an industry get that much power? Well, it's not just about traditional lobbying anymore. They've developed this really sophisticated playbook to influence policy from the inside out.
First, let's just follow the money. Since this recent AI gold rush kicked off, just 5 of the biggest tech companies have poured over $100 million into federal lobbying alone. That's a staggering amount of cash aimed directly at lawmakers.
But it goes way deeper. It's a 3-step process called policy capture. First, they bankroll academic research, so they get to shape the entire conversation before it even gets to politicians. Second, industry-friendly foundations fund public interest technologists to go work directly inside congressional offices, advising lawmakers from the inside. And third, they get their former staff placed inside the very government agencies that are supposed to be watching them, like the U.S. AI Safety Institute.
Okay, so when you're spending that much money and the public still wants more regulation, not less, you need a powerful public argument. And the industry has a classic go-to. You manufacture a crisis to scare everyone away from making rules.
And here it is, the race with China. The argument is that any regulation, no matter how sensible, will slow down American innovation and hand the future to China. Be afraid, they say. We have to win at all costs, even if it means unleashing, and this is a real quote, American killer robots.
It's a very effective, very fear-based argument. There's just one tiny problem with it. It's not true.
Because here's the truth. China actually has one of the most developed and strict AI regulatory systems in the world. They aren't in some lawless race to the bottom. So, as one former tech policy expert put it, this whole China race narrative is just a Trojan horse. It's a trick to get deregulation passed here at home.
So if the China threat isn't real, what's the actual motive behind this frantic war on rules? Why are they so desperate? The answer, as it so often is, comes down to money. A very, very big pile of it.
Private investors have poured an estimated $200 billion into building the infrastructure for AI. We're talking massive data centers, the whole shebang. That is an almost unimaginable amount of money betting on the future of this technology.
But here's the industry's dirty little secret. How much money is all that infrastructure actually bringing in from real products and services? Only about $16 billion. That gap is enormous. And this is the source of the panic. There is no clear path to profitability. They've built the most expensive thing in history, and now they are desperate to make it pay off, and fast. You can bet the money behind this is getting very nervous. And this is the key to understanding everything. When you're in that kind of financial hole, our society's legal foundations, protections for fair credit, civil rights, equal employment opportunity, they don't look like essential rights. They look like road bumps, obstacles on the path to that $200 billion in revenue they so desperately need.
And that brings us to the final reveal, the piece that makes everything else just click into place. It's about a term you've probably heard a lot, AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence.
When we hear AGI, we think of science fiction, right? A conscious, human-like AI that can think and reason just like us. This godlike intelligence that could change the world. That's the public story. But that's not how the industry defines it. This is from OpenAI's own official charter. Notice the language. It's not about consciousness or curing cancer. It's about outperforming humans at most economically valuable work. The definition is already shifting toward profit.
But it gets even more explicit. In the actual investment deal between Microsoft and OpenAI, the contract defines the arrival of AGI as the moment their system generates $100 billion in profits. Let that sink in. AGI isn't a technological breakthrough. It's a financial target written into a contract.
So we have to end with this question. When these companies promise a technology that will benefit all of humanity, we now know that their internal goal, the very definition of their ultimate creation, is profit. So the question we all need to ask is, whose benefit and whose profit are they really building for?